Have you ever wondered how a single company could grow so powerful that it had to be dismantled by a nation's highest court, only to rise again as an even greater giant? This is not just a story of oil and profits. It is a saga of ambition, downfall, and a relentless climb back to the top. It is the story of Exxon Mobil, a corporation whose roots are deeply intertwined with the very fabric of the modern world. A journey from a monopolistic empire to a global energy titan that continues to shape our future. This is a tale of how fragments of a shattered kingdom were reforged into a new, more formidable dynasty. Our story begins in the late 19th century, a time of unprecedented industrial growth and innovation. In this era of steel and steam, a new dark, viscous liquid was beginning to fuel the engines of progress: petroleum. And at the heart of this burgeoning industry was one man: John D. Rockefeller. In 1870, he founded the Standard Oil Company, a venture that would not just dominate the oil market, but redefine the very concept of a modern corporation. Rockefeller, with his strategic genius and ruthless efficiency, built an empire unlike any seen before. Through vertical integration, he controlled every step of the process. From the oil wells to the refineries, from the pipelines to the delivery wagons. By the turn of the 20th century, Standard Oil held a near-total monopoly. A colossal entity that dictated the flow and price of the lifeblood of the industrial age. It was a symbol of American ingenuity and power, but also of unchecked corporate might, casting a long shadow that would soon attract the attention of a wary government. The empire, however, was deemed too vast, too powerful. In a landmark decision that would echo through the annals of business history, the United States Supreme Court, wielding the Sherman Antitrust Act, ruled in 1911 that the Standard Oil Trust must be dissolved. The colossal giant was shattered, broken into 34 independent companies, each forced to carve out its own destiny. It was a moment of profound crisis, a forced separation that could have spelled the end for Rockefeller's legacy. Yet from these fragments, the seeds of a new empire were already sprouting. Two of the largest and most significant pieces of the old Standard Oil were the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey, known as Jersey Standard, and the Standard Oil Company of New York, or SOCONY. These were not mere remnants. They were powerful entities in their own right, inheriting the DNA of their formidable parent. They were rivals, but they shared a common heritage and an unyielding ambition to not just survive, but to thrive and conquer the global stage. This breakup, intended to curb power, inadvertently set the stage for a new kind of competition and a race for global dominance. As these newly independent entities navigated the competitive landscape of the early 20th century, they understood the power of identity. They needed names that would resonate with customers and stand apart from their former siblings. Jersey Standard, in a clever nod to its origins, began marketing its products under the brand name SO in 1926, a phonetic spelling of the initials SO for Standard Oil. It was a name that carried the weight of its heritage while signaling a new beginning. Meanwhile, SOCONY, which had a long history with lubricants through its acquisition of the pioneering Vacuum Oil Company, eventually adopted a name that would become synonymous with performance and motion. In 1966, it rebranded itself as Mobil Oil Corporation. The names ESO and Mobil became more than just brands. They became symbols of quality and reliability, emblazoned on service stations and oil cans from the bustling cities of America to the farthest corners of the globe. This was not just a marketing strategy. It was the forging of distinct legacies from a shared, monolithic past, a crucial step in their individual journeys toward becoming global household names. The middle of the 20th century was an era of explosive growth and technological marvels, and the descendants of Standard Oil were at the forefront of this progress. This period was not just about drilling for more oil. It was about unlocking its hidden potential through relentless research and development. The scientists and engineers at Jersey Standard and SOCONY Mobil were pioneers, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. They developed advanced lubricants like the legendary Gargoyle 600W and Mobil Oil, which kept the gears of industry and the engines of the first automobiles turning smoothly. Their laboratories became crucibles of innovation, giving birth to synthetic butyl rubber, critical material during World War II, and a vast array of petrochemicals that would form the basis for plastics and countless other modern materials. They perfected the refining process, creating higher-octane fuels for aviation that helped win wars and shrink the globe. But their ambition was not confined to the laboratory. Driven by an insatiable thirst for resources, Jersey Standard and Exxon Mobil embarked on a grand campaign of global expansion. Their geologists and engineers ventured into the deserts of the Middle East and the jungles of Venezuela, undertaking massive exploration and production projects that would secure the energy supplies for a rapidly industrializing world. They were building not just companies, but global networks of power and influence, their destinies increasingly tied to the geopolitical shifts of a changing world. As the 20th century drew to a close, the global energy market was becoming increasingly volatile and complex. The rise of powerful state-owned oil corporations from nations in the Middle East and elsewhere presented a new, formidable challenge. The once dominant American oil giants realized that to compete effectively, they needed to consolidate their strength. The era of sibling rivalry was over. Time for reunification had come. And so, in a move that stunned the financial world and redrew the map of the global energy industry, the descendants of John D. Rockefeller's empire prepared to join forces once more. On November 30th, 1999, Exxon, the company that Jersey Standard had become in 1972, and Mobil announced a historic merger. It was the largest industrial merger in history at the time, a monumental consolidation that brought together two of the most significant pieces of the original Standard Oil Trust. The objective was clear: to create a new integrated supermajor, a company with the scale, efficiency, and financial might to navigate the turbulent waters of the new millennium and stand shoulder to shoulder with any competitor, private or state-owned. The merger wasn't just a business transaction. It was a symbolic homecoming, the reforging of a dynasty. With the stroke of a pen, Exxon Mobil Corporation was born. This new entity was not merely the sum of its parts. It was a behemoth, instantly ranking as one of the largest and most profitable companies on the planet. Its market capitalization and revenue dwarfed those of many nations. The merger created a truly integrated energy giant, with a colossal presence across the entire value chain. In the upstream sector, it commanded vast operations in exploration and production. With access to some of the world's most significant oil and gas reserves, in the downstream, it operated a global network of massive, technologically advanced refineries and marketed its products through thousands of retail stations under familiar brands like Exxon, Mobil, and Esso. Beyond fuel, its petrochemical division became a global leader, producing the essential chemical building blocks for an endless array of industrial and consumer goods. The creation of Exxon Mobil was the culmination of a century-long journey. The fragments of Rockefeller's shattered empire had not only survived their forced separation, but had grown and evolved only to reunite as a new, more powerful, and more resilient global force, a true giant prepared to dominate the energy landscape of the 21st century. Entering the modern era, Exxon Mobil has solidified its position as a cornerstone of the global energy system. As one of the world's largest non-state producers of crude oil and natural gas, its operations are fundamental to powering economies and daily life around the globe. Its vast refineries continue to churn out the fuels that power transportation and industry, while its formidable petrochemical business remains a critical supplier for the plastics, chemicals, and materials sectors that underpin modern manufacturing. However, the 21st century has brought with it a new and profound set of challenges. The growing scientific consensus on climate change and the global push towards decarbonization have placed immense pressure on the entire fossil fuel industry. Like its peers, ExxonMobil finds itself at a crossroads, navigating the complex transition to a lower carbon future. In response, the company has begun to invest in emerging technologies aimed at mitigating its environmental impact, including carbon capture and storage CCS projects, exploring the potential of green hydrogen, and research into advanced biofuels. Despite these initiatives, the company maintains that its core oil and gas business remains vital for meeting the world's energy demands for decades to come, creating a delicate, balancing act between its traditional operations and the demands of a new energy paradigm. This long and storied journey has not been without its dark chapters, moments that have tested the company's resilience and tarnished its public image. The most infamous of these occurred on March 24, 1989, when the oil tanker Exxon Valdez ran aground in Prince William Sound, Alaska. The resulting oil spill was a catastrophic environmental disaster, releasing millions of gallons of crude oil into a pristine and ecologically sensitive marine environment. The images of oil-soaked coastlines and dying wildlife were broadcast around the world, sparking public outrage and forever associating the company's name with environmental tragedy. The spill led to massive fines, billions of dollars in cleanup costs, and a profound and lasting blow to the company's reputation. It became a powerful case study in corporate responsibility and the immense risks associated with the oil industry. The Exxon Valdez disaster forced the company, and indeed the entire industry, to reevaluate its safety and environmental protocols, serving as a harsh and enduring lesson on the devastating consequences that can occur when things go wrong. From its genesis as the dominant force within the Standard Oil empire to its court-ordered breakup, and eventual reunification as a global supermerger, the journey of Exxon Mobil is a powerful epic of corporate evolution. It is a testament to the enduring power and influence of oil corporations in shaping the course of the last century and beyond. Through historic mergers, technological triumphs, and profound crises, Exxon Mobil has consistently adapted, navigating the shifting tides of the global market and the complex challenges of its time. Today, as it stands at the nexus of traditional energy and a cleaner future, its story continues to unfold. This is more than the history of a company. It is a reflection of our world's reliance on energy, a saga of ambition, innovation, and the immense responsibility that comes with fueling the planet, reminding us that the giants of today are forged in the crucibles of yesterday's challenges.